Okay, well, we'll start with, hello. Your name, sir?
Anthony Busell.
Anthony Busell. And you worked at
Bentley College.
Bentley Colliery. Now, you're probably aware, I've just been talking, I'm going to make a wax head of you
Yes.
in about 2 hours. And hopefully,
Yeah, it looks something
it'll
like
look
me.
a little bit like you. And in that period, we're going to hopefully have a conversation about you,
Yes.
your life, mining, the community you know and been brought up in,
Yes.
and where you are now. So, first of all, when were you born?
Born in 1971.
Right. And to a family of miners, or?
My dad was a miner. Mum as a mother. I've got a brother and a sister. That really, I mean, my dad, he went on buses back to mines, to buses, back to mines. Because in them days, you could change, well, it was quite easy to change jobs.
Right.
Not like it is nowadays.
So would you call him a passionate miner?
Well, I think with my dad, it was just a job, but he became a deputy after a length of time, and he enjoyed his job, his role in the safety side of things.
So what's a deputy?
A deputy is somebody who makes sure the district is safe for men working, and walking around and checking for gas, and
Right.
analysing a situation, if it's safe or not. Also, if anybody had an accident and they needed pain relief, it was only a deputy that could inject morphine.
Oh, really?
They had little like first aid boxes with key on the walls in certain areas of the mine with the methane, no, sorry, I do apologise, morphine inside it, and deputy, they unlocked it, got the syringe out, got the medicine out, and
Administered him.
yes.
Gosh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So he was quite important down below. When things go wrong, he's the
Yeah.
guy that you go straight to, the deputy.
Yeah, then if anything happens, deputy's got to report to the manager, and just along the line really.
Right. So you say he was kind of on and off in the mine. So how
For early times, 70s and 80s, he was on off, but then in 80s he stuck to the mines, and that's when he became a deputy.
Right. And did he stick to it because of his new family responsibilities and?
Oh yeah, but my dad was a person who believed he's the breadwinner, he's the one who provides, he made sure we had holidays, Christmas, food on the table. So that's what he was.
Yeah. So you got kids yourself?
Yes,
How many have you got?
I've got one of each, a girl and a boy.
And how old are they?
Amy's, she's 8, Mason's 11.
Oh, nice. So still quite a handful.
Yes, they are good kids.
Yeah.
They are good kids. They can play together, they get on together. Mason, he makes out that he doesn't, he's not bothered about Amy, but he is. He adores her. He's like the big brother. If anything happens, he's the first one to
Yeah.
try and sort it out, see what's up, but no, he's a good kid.
Nice. So where were you brought up?
First off, what I can call Scorthorpe.
Sculthorpe.
Scorthorpe.
Scorthorpe. Where's that? How do you spell that, sir?
SCAWTHROPE, Scorthorpe.
Right, where's that?
That's in Bentley.
Oh, okay.
On way to Woodlands, on that stretch. Then we moved to to Bentley on Bath Road, and that's where we lived for a good few years then, till I got older. I can remember then my dad was working on buses. He was on his shift and we were ready for school and that. Next thing I know, the big double-decker bus outside the house, off on a side street.
Right, yeah.
My dad just pulled into just pick us up and take us to school. On his round, it was ace. But I mean,
Was that a one-off, or did he do it all the
no,
time?
that was just a one-off.
Fantastic. Birthday treat.
Yeah, but you won't get out like that nowadays.
No.
But now, I've got good memories about it all. But now, I've had good times down there. I mean,
So your story, let's go back to it. So you were obviously brought up, your dad's a miner, in and out of the jobs. He's
Yes.
he's a man of respect. Your mother was working at home, bringing up the family.
yes,
He's coming home with you and with his tea on the table.
yes,
And you are a kid at school,
yes.
and you're enjoying school?
At the time at school, I was having problems with my ears.
Ears?
Yeah, I was partly deaf in both ears, so I had to wear hearing aids. So everything I was learning, I was struggling with. So it set me back with my English and maths and just schooling in general.
Did it affect your speech?
It did, yes. But I have had operations on my ears to do skin grafts.
Really? On the drum?
Yeah, to repair the eardrum. And they seem to be okay now, my ears seem to be okay. Then I left school at 16. I mean, I enjoyed woodwork and metalwork at school. They were one of the main subjects I liked because I like working with my hands. And there's some times when I was at school, like in woodwork, the teachers tell us how to do something and tell us to make this item. And this one particular item, I didn't want to do it his way. I wanted to do it my way, thinking it's easier. So he said, okay then, you could do it your way and let's see what happens. I did it my way. It came out the same. I can't remember if it was a bit quicker or easier. And ever since then, he noticed that I had skills and qualities in that side of things, same as the metalwork. And when he found out that I was leaving at Easter and not taking my exams, he pleaded with my parents for me to stop on so I could take the exams.
So why were you not going to take the exams?
Because I didn't like school because of the problems I was.
Because of the physical problems?
Yes.
Did you suffer with the other kids with those physical problems, or
No,
was
no.
there sympathy?
No, just struggled himself. I didn't like homework and stuff like that. I can remember in canteen, I was on my snap and I came across,
Did you call it snap in there?
yeah,
So snap is a universal term, not just a mining term.
yeah. And I was having something to eat and I was looking for a newspaper. I saw a notice coming up, miners being recruited in the coalfield, and I ripped it out of paper and I took it home. But I can remember my dad saying to me years ago, he never wants me to work that pit. But as soon as I got this slip, I took it home. I mean, I told me about it. I said, yeah, I've got it here. And he took me up to get an application form. I got an application form, filled it in, But at the time, because you had to have a medical as well to see if you were able to fit enough to work underground regarding any problems or like that. So the thing that I noticed, well, I picked up on was my ears, thinking the medical might fail my ears because of having operations and my ears not being strong enough to take the pressure.
Oh, right.
So I had the medical and I passed it and I got a job, and I can remember doing the on surface like a little classroom college thing. I used to
The training.
train, learn all about it and that. Then we used to send us down with trainer to different areas to get us used to what it's like underground, and showing us what different things are and how to ride a man rider belt, how to get off it.
A man rider belt.
Yeah, it's like a conveyor belt, which has coal on it. Some areas in the pit, you could ride them. Rather than walking out, you could ride them, and that was same for going in. Because what they lifted the top up, so the bottom belt were lower, and you could ride in by on the belt and get off at the next platform where you need to get off to get to your job. I mean, sometimes it could take you an hour to get to your job. And when you think it, sometimes your shifts are only 7.25 hours. So you spent nearly 2 hours walking, travelling, so you've only got like 5 hours
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And you think,
I mean, what sort of depths and lengths of pit shaft and...
Bentley Pit was, I think, 850 metres. I mean, it was deep. I mean, that park gate, you dropped like 30 foot a second in the cage,
Jesus Christ.
and you could feel your ears.
Oh, really, especially yours.
Yeah, I mean, by that time, I think my ears were completely healed up, but you had to like gulp or take a sweet
Yeah.
to even the pressure out. Bentley Pit bottom, when the explosion happened, Bentley Pit was still on fire around the shafts, even up to the day it shut.
Really?
Yes.
Hang on a minute. Going back to the let's say the 1940s, 20s. The explosion started in the pit, and obviously it got a horrible disaster.
Yeah.
The coal underground was smouldering away,
Yeah, still burning.
and that shaft was closed down.
No, it was still. It wasn't actually in the shaft, or it was quite a bit away from the shaft, but it's like in the pit bottom area. And when one of the jobs I had was a beltman, I had to go around checking the rollers, making sure they're all spinning, no build-up of dust, coal around them, clean box end out, because if you didn't, that would form a fire with the heating of the steel and the coal rubbing against each other. And some areas I had to walk on, they had pipes coming out of the wall with caps over end, and they were where the explosion was. They pumped in this like sealant to try and smother the coals, stop it from breathing. And many times I could be walking down there, and one instance I had to ring control because I could smell smoke. So they sent a deputy round to check it all out, and if there was any sign of new smouldering, what they'll probably do is open the caps and push more. It's called pump pack. pump pack. It's like a plaster to pump it in, and it seals the areas. The stuff they use, it gets red hot because they use two mixtures to mix it together with water, and it gets red hot. And I can remember sometimes this bloke, he wanted some beans for his lunch, so what he did, he got a tub, a steel bin, filled it with this mixture and dropped his tin of beans into it, left it for 20 minutes so for it to heat up. He smashed the like cement, plaster, whatever, off the beans, opened tin of beans, and they were nice and warm.
So he cooked them inside the where? Sorry, he cooked them where?
In the bucket, because the stuff that they put into the wall that helps the wall from collapsing on the roadway, like in a way, like underpinning on a house, you make it solid. So, but the chemical reaction was solid, and it got red hot.
Wow! And you could cook your food.
And he cooked. I saw him actually cook tin of beans, and it was hot. It was funny. He had a bit of trouble getting tins open because he didn't think about opening them. But no, he did it. He had
Was that
them.
part of contraband? I mean, would that have been allowed down there? Tin of beans.
Beans you can because of steel.
Because another guy, I met a guy yesterday whose wife, his first day down the pit, his wife packed him a packed lunch and she wrapped it in tin foil.
Yeah,
he opened his tin and he thought, shh, and he closed it again and went hungry for the day.
Tin foil can be conductive.
Right.
So, what you're not allowed matches, cigarettes, paper, anything that could catch fire.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to do it. I mean, I know camera crew went down, but they're all specialised equipment, sealed off from, because it all had to be airtight.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one instance where one at Beltlines, it was what you call gas fast, where gas is building up and is not going anywhere. And it's like one belt led to another belt, but like on a bend. But the gas wouldn't move. It just stayed there. To try putting blowers to try blow it away, but it wouldn't do it. And in the end, the manager said to under manager, I want the belts going. Where we all knew that if you'd done the belts running, you get electric, and gas and electric do not go together on a certain level of gas. But the manager, he wanted belts moving. Few of us, we went out at way to shaft side, just in case anything did happen. But the manager knew what he was doing. He got the belts going, and with the flow of the air from the belts, it actually dispersed the gas out of the pit, or diluted it, made it thinner. But no, that was a scary experience. That one.
You've been in experiences where methane gas is built up down there.
Yeah.
And was that an unusual experience or?
No, it does happen. It does happen. A lot of the time, when you're a miner, you keep an eye on the weather forecast because you get high pressure and low pressure. When it's high pressure, mining can be okay because the pressure that's coming down is high and it pushes the gas back into the wall. So when you get low pressure, like when it's raining and stuff like that, that's when gas can start seeping out.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I looked upon regarding the weather and what role it had in the mining.
Gosh, you never would have understood. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the ambient gas pressure, what's the word, air pressure in the air? Is it like 4 point something? There's an ambient pressure, isn't there, and it builds up. So that actual pressure can affect gas at 850 metres.
Yeah. But then it's got to go into your other roadways.
So the pressure from the outside air
Yeah.
hits the ground, and that obviously slows down. It's a bit like a chimney flue, I presume,
Yeah.
where the smoke gets colder and colder and colder,
Yeah.
and therefore you get a build of smoke down below. The methane's constantly filtering through the rock strata
Yeah.
and all the geology, going up to the surface. And if you put a bit of pressure on the top,
It pushes
it backs up.
Yeah.
And is it almost as immediate as that? You would have an effect that
Yeah.
day.
It'd have an immediate effect.
You don't go like, okay, last week we had 6 bar or whatever it was, and then the following week, oh yeah, that'll have an effect down below. It's actually immediate.
Yeah, it can be immediate, yeah. With the pressure on it. I mean, there was one instance where it'd been raining up on surface, so it was low pressure, and because Bentley Pit had an old training gallery in Barnsley level,
Okay, a training gallery is a gallery
where you go to train, like to move and lift things, set rings.
Is that an old pit head face or a...
Well, it's old workings,
Okay.
but it's actually in the
A
pit.
disused area.
Yeah, because when I did my training, it was on the surface. The rings, we had a mock area on the surface that we did his training in, rather than going underground. We did go to the training gallery during our training, so it could show us what it was all about. One section you had to abseil to get to the training gallery, 'cause where the rings made out, it was like started up, then it rolled flat, and you could look down, and the rings were like that way, going downwards.
Gosh.
And you have to abseil down that, or you could go down old workings, which I just chiselled out of the rock to get round to it. But this one time, it had been raining, and I was walking about old areas, and I went into the training gallery, and I'd finished and started walking. I walked at pit bottom, and Deputy said to me, "Where you been?" And I told him. He said, "You're joking." I said, "No way." He said, "We're gas fast." we shut down for a minute because of gas. Nothing's running. He said, "But down there is the most gassiest place in the pit." He said, "You could have died not realising that the gas was affecting you."
This is down in the training gallery?
Yeah, I went down there. So,
Right.
taught me a lesson. But like I say, I was only 19, 20.
Yeah.
So
What were you doing? Were you just going down there for the hell of it, or were you supposed to be down there?
going down there for a living, just on a walkabout.
Have a little investigate, little...
Yeah, I mean, a couple of guys at pit called me Crocodile Dundee, because I was always on the walkabout. But no.
So you had that freedom on a shift, for example. You had a freedom to, in your snap break or whatever,
Yes.
do a little bit of investigation down that
Yeah, I probably
corridor.
Probably I shouldn't have done or whatever, but I wasn't really sure if I was or not. I say 19, 20, so
Inquisitive.
yes, very.
I mean, the way you're talking and the way that you're relating stories is like a deep passion, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, you obviously were very, very young. You went in first, and mining was going towards the end of its kind of period.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you had any inkling of that at that point?
No.
No inkling of anything finishing?
No, I mean, when I went for my training, first started it, the centres, we did a test to be, well, we did this test, and they pulled so many of us through to this other classroom, and I said, right, you 4 or 5 have passed this test, we want you to go to college. And I looked and thought, what? And he said, the test you've done is to become a fitter and electrician combined, so doing 2 jobs in one. And I said to him, I'm not going. He said, why? He said, I didn't like school, I didn't get on with school. He said, but how did you find this test? Easy. And he said, well, doesn't it tell you anything? Because all it was like, if pulley A move pulley C, which way would pulley B move? It was that type of test, which I find easy. I can evaluate and work stuff out like that. But the personnel manager, he had a chat to me, he had a chat to my dad to see if he could persuade me to keep there. And he says, can you just do 2 weeks, try 2 weeks, see how you get on? I said, okay. I mean, I did 2 days. All I want to do was get back underground. It wasn't for me, that area.
So, formal education was not your thing, but you had an incredible intelligence, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And an instant, from the minute you were turned on, you knew it. It was a bit like me going to art college for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do too well at school, and then I went to art college and, whoa. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. This is me, it fits, the glove fits.
Yeah.
It all the kind of, the taps are now open.
Yeah.
And so you were so curious, you were running up and down and through and just in heaven down there.
Yeah. And, I mean, there was one section on Beltline, I walked into old stables where they used to keep ponies, and they had like bits of leather from the saddles and the harnesses,
Really?
and you could still smell the ponies on it, and you could still feel the texture.
And this is just a disused part of the mine,
Well, yeah, disused, but it was a walkway you had to go through to get somewhere.
Wow. So really evocative.
Yeah, a lot of old history. I mean, it had old travel carriages, like where you sit. Like the carriages nowadays, underground, you sit side by side, facing forward or backwards. What these ones were, you sat in a row sideways, facing sideways, looking at the rings rather than looking forward.
So you were looking outwards, so you're back to back. So there's 2 sets of you going.
Yeah,
down.
there's one where I'm sat. There's a person sat behind me. Train's going that way, but you're looking that way.
At the wall.
Yeah, and there were 2 carriages there.
Wow.
And that was interesting to look at and see how they worked. And like I say, they had old roadways.
God, it's like an underground city.
Yeah.
And you had the keys to it.
Yeah.
But did you like being part of a kind of a line of miners? Was that something, a kind of a heritage thing that you were proud of?
I didn't think of it that way at first, but after a while, like I say, I really enjoyed the job and the atmosphere, and now it's gone. I'm proud of that respect, saying that I've been there, I've done that, I'm part of that history, and nobody else is going to have that history again in the mind.
Yeah. And it's quite wonderful that a guy of your intelligence as well has got that historical interest.
Yeah.
You've got a kind of an archival interest in it. So you've got, and it's almost magnified, I suppose, because of the fact that you are one of the last.
Yes.
You have a responsibility almost.
Yeah, I mean, if I can recall, as far as I know, I'm the youngest underground worker at Bentley Pit.
Wow.
For the time, for when it shut.
So there couldn't be anyone else, could there?
I mean, I think there was a lad on the surface, I don't know if he was older than me or younger, but he didn't work underground. So I was the youngest underground worker. The people on the face, their main priority is coal. More coal they get out of the pit, more bonus they get, because there's a bonus system within the mine regarding how much money you got paid. So it was the people in face who got the most, then you got the people in the heading, then you got like people on materials, then you got people...
What do you mean by materials? Sorry, what's that?
Materials like sending rings in.
Oh, okay. Building materials.
Yes.
Construction.
Yeah. And when you got to surface, the percentage of the bonus got lower, because if you work on surface, you're not. It's like danger money and stuff like that. So that's how it's all worked out.
Hence, everyone's trying to get to the face.
Yeah, more money on the face.
Would you say there's more fun on the face? Fun's a funny word to use.
Yes, interesting.
I mean, when you're at the face, is there a geological interest? I mean, I suppose you did it, but when you're down there, do you think about the fact that you guys are actually mining stuff and touching materials that were there since the earth began?
No, we don't think of it that way. I mean, once or twice we've come across like fossils, like stones or whatever, with fossils on it. We've found a few of those, but what we thinking over was the amount of weight that was coming down on us. It's like during snap time, when everything goes quiet.
Oh gosh, yes, that's interesting. So it's a very, very noisy place.
Yeah.
And then suddenly break time.
Yeah,
silence.
Everything goes off. It just dead silence. But all you'll hear is creaking and banging, and you could hear like a rock fall. You could hear a thud and feel it.
That was a bit weird.
Yeah.
The lights went out.
And now you could hear it, and once or twice like might ping because of the weight along the steel.
Gosh. So you've become aware of kind of being in geology, and is it something you discussed, or were you talking about the day's issues and having a laugh? Or was it people at the time you go, did you actually...
Oh, thank you.
As a it's your birthday.
It's some cake from Joe for you. It's his birthday.
Oh, that's very kind.
Curly haired guy.
Oh. How sweet is that? Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
You're on an hour.
Oh, we're getting there. Well, I'm enjoying myself. We might go on for 3 with this one.
You're not
It's good fun.
You're not allowed, I'm afraid, boss.
It's great. I'm enjoying this. We've got a nice narrative going. It's very good. So the geological... So you're having a snap break. It's gone deathly silent. It's creaking.
Yeah, banging and
Tectonic movements. So how many of you are having a break together?
it could be about 10 of us or so, because we're if you want materials, because sometimes I'm on a stage loader. One of my first jobs was on a stage loader. That's next to the face, and that was noisy. But to say it was noisy, you could still fall asleep. I mean, on top of stage loader, there's a big basket full of big armoured cable, just reeled up. And because I'd just started and getting used to shifts and that lot, I think it were nights I run. I can remember this one time, chat with me, he said, go get a basket, get your head down for an hour or so, because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got caught sleeping on the ground, it was instant dismissal. But it's shut now anyway, so I can tell the story. I can remember being up there, And thanks a lot.
Cheers, Danny.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Yeah,
can
thanks.
and I can remember being up there with duffel coat on, just all wrapped up with air defenders on, so getting rid of noise and falling asleep. Next thing I know, I get a shining light in my face, and it was deputy, and saying, "Oh, are you all right? Just making sure that you're all right up there," because where I am is close to the roof, where rings have been set on that. And you say, "Come on, coming down now, get some work done." I mean, we had stories of like so-called ghosts underground.
Really?
Yeah, one was called Ragarm. Apparently this guy supposed to have got his arm ripped off on a district, and sometimes you'll see him or whatever, but sometimes on a roadway in the far distance you'll see a light coming towards you.
Wow.
And you're walking towards the light, and but then there's never a light there. and when I got to bottom, I saw deputy. He was just walking down. I said, "Anybody just passed you?" He said, "No way." He said, "I'm walking down and I saw a light." I said, "Oh, it's probably Ragarm."
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
So this is
Yeah.
the guy that didn't have an arm.
yeah, he got his arm ripped off.
So he's walking around without an arm and a lantern.
Yeah.
Ah!
I mean, apparently he died in that lot, but it was a ghost that was travelling around. I was like, the plastering came in.
All right.
I thought, well, yeah. I thought we could do with some plastering in the house. So what I did, I went to British Coal Enterprise, and
So how long after your retirement is this?
this were
Redundancy, sorry.
nearly a year.
Right, for your money, how much, sorry, I don't want to get personal, but how much did you get?
I don't know if it was 14,000 or 17.
Okay.
At the time, I was the youngest underground worker, but realistically, I was the best paid
Oh, really?
in that respect, because there was categories for your age. If you was 21, you got an extra £7.5 grand lump sum on top of your 12 weeks, best 12 weeks.
Sorry, I missed that. If you're under or over 21?
Over 21,
Yeah.
you got an extra 7,500 plus your best 12 weeks. Then
Best 12 weeks, you mean the highest paid 12
Yes.
weeks you have?
best 12 weeks. Then if you were 30, you got an extra 10,000 on top of that.
Good Lord.
And to say I was there only 3 years, I qualified for the over 21 lump sum, as well as the best 12 weeks. The guy's been there since school, who were 29, couple of months, couple of days short of the 30th birthday, who missed out on that extra 10 grand lump sum. So they've been working all them years from school till the present day, and it got to the point where they've actually got the same amount as me,
Good Lord. Why did they miss out, sorry?
because they didn't reach, they hadn't reached 30,
Oh.
because it went from like 21, 30, went in your age group.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said to me, which they found it a bit disgusting really, but
Yeah, yeah.
they couldn't really take it out on me because it's the way the system works. He said,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
truthfully, you're better off than any of us. because the least amount of time you come in and what you got paid compared to us, which is virtually the same amount.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were very upset about it.
I bet they were.
But then, like I say, I mean, I had holidays and stuff like that from it all. I mean, like I say, I'm only 21, 22, and at that age with money, it doesn't really last that long because you're not clued up on things.
Yeah.
So I went to Leeds College of Build. I mean, I went to British Coal Enterprise to ask them about it, and I said I'm thinking about doing plastering.
So they basically, British College Enterprise was still kind of responsible. You could still go to them and say, can you help me? Because you weren't like forgotten about.
No,
left.
British Coal Enterprise were to help people get to work,
Right.
find work, and we got in touch with Leeds College Building, and because I was unemployed and signing on, I was eligible for a free course. It didn't cost me anything. It was funded for me. So that was a bonus. And I went up to Leeds College Building, enrolled in plastering, and I did a 3-year course in 2 years. Got my MVQs 1, 2 and 3.
So this kind of education you could handle.
Yes, I mean, what it was manual, because we did a practical before theory. I mean, I still struggled a bit with the theory, but I had help and got through it.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, there were guys there coming to me, asking me how to do this, how to do that, instead of going to the tutor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they knew I could do things. But then 2013, I've just been to see my friend in Bentley after work, and I was just ready for going home, and on my way home, a bloke in a young lad in a 4x4 turned into my path when I was on a motorbike, and he knocked me off, and I ended up dislocating my shoulder, shattering my thigh, fracturing my pelvis, and damaging my knee. So I spent a month in hospital and a year off work, and because of the mortgage payments was coming to an end, all I was concerned about was I need to get money. I need to pay the bills. So I went back.
Did you have kids at this time?
We had one. Yeah. No, sorry, the accident, we had 2 at the accident, but Amy, she was young. I think she was 3. She got born in 2010. But then I went back to work for 6 months.
What, so you were...
After accident, a year, I went back to work, but I went back to work for 6 months and realised I wasn't getting any better. I still had problems. I ended up having an operation on my shoulder, operation on my knee, and I found out my leg was still broke.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so...
How the hell did they miss that?
Well, apparently what's happened, my bone's not healing. For some reason, my bone's not healing up. So, I mean, my leg's still broke now.
Really?
Yeah, I've waited to see a consultant, see if I can get an MRI scan or a CT scan, to actually find out what's happening. So at the moment, I'm still not working. I'm just vegetating, really.
So your leg's been broken for
No,
8 years?
no, 4. 2013, 2013 I had the accident.
Your daughter was born in 10.
Yes. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So, at the moment, you're waiting to talk to specialists.
Yeah, again.
And what do you think might happen?
I don't know, because I went to a specialist in Sheffield, and they turn around and says, there's not much else we can do. Your leg's going back together, but it's healing up on the outside, but on the inside it's not healing. And that's what problem I had before. So I had an operation, put a frame on the side of my leg, to squash my bone together, to force it to heal.
Clamp it like a wood, you mean your woodwork?
Yeah, but then they broke my leg further down to extend my leg. So
To what, your leg extended?
extend it, yeah, so my leg was the same length. Because this leg was about an inch shorter when they compressed it up.
So the compression is a vertical compression, not a lateral one?
Yeah, straight up. And so they did that. We got to the point where he said, it's healing, it's doing, but to me they let me discharge me too soon regarding doing a follow-up,
Right.
regarding scans.
So you were out, in a sense, unprotected.
And I've got nothing in me, leg at all, no steel weight, no nothing.
30 minutes, Lawrence.
How many?
30.
Jesus. Bloody hell.
So that's what I'm up against at the moment.
So what are you doing? How are you dealing with this?
Well, it's hard really, because everything I think about is numb. Only,
Everything you think about is numb.
yeah, there's,
What do you mean? In your brain or in
Yeah.
your body? Physically or mentally?
mentally, like a lot of things are just numb. I can't think of anything. But the only place I find sanity is a Bentley Pit. Sometimes I've gone up to the top of where Bentley Pit used to be and sat there and thought about the good times. When I've been low, and that's where I've gone. And sometimes I think about all the old roadways and stuff like that. Try and boost me up.
Incredible. And that incredible, inquisitive bloke that was exploring underground, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you can live that. You can be in that body in a sense and be down there.
Yeah, yeah,
So because all these pits have been flattened and raised.
yeah.
Some of them you can't even find any evidence of them at all. So have you? Because Bentley Pit is kind of completely lost, isn't it? In a sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's area in the grounds of the nature reserve where they've got, like it's all fenced off, but I've found 2 caps where these shafts were, and what I've done is I put some, like solar panel light up against it and put some little lights wrapping round the cap.
So let's just go back to me. So you're exploring on your walking stick. You're sort of walking around
Well, I went on
on
crutches.
your crutches
Yeah,
to find solace.
yeah,
You wanted to find kind of almost like a spiritual home, really.
Yeah,
A place
yeah.
that had evidence of where your previous life had been,
yeah.
and you found it.
Yeah, I found it
So
then.
it effectively is what, 2 concrete slabs,
Well, it's like pyramids.
pyramids. So like kind of tumuli.
Yeah.
How big are they?
Sounds about, that's heck that chair.
Oh, they're not big at all.
No.
So like milestones or
Yeah.
shrines.
But like I say, I put lights around it, but I've never been at night to see if it's actually lighting up and stuff.
So your first, I remember you telling me your first kind of offering was luminous stars.
Yeah, I glue some stars on, the one that glow in the night, thinking that it'll do it, but I say, I've been out really seen it.
Wow, so I love that image of in the middle of this wood. Because I like the way the fact that you talked about ghosts and spirit lives and stuff. And you've almost created this kind of luminous starred spiritual pyramids in the middle of a wood.
Yeah, I mean, what I wanted my mind of doing was like doing some form of solar light, but having it shining straight up.
Yeah.
So on a night time, if it's a bit foggy, you can see the light shine up.
Brilliant.
But it's trying to get back over to it. And that. I mean, I think a few people have been there now because the pathway to it is not bad actually. I mean, you still got to be very careful, but like I say, with crutches and that, I can get to it, and because it's not that far away from the path where you're walking.
Gosh. And so, how do you feel when you're there? I mean, you say, do you just sit there and think?
Yeah, I just think and imagine myself. I mean, even now I'm doing it now, travelling down the shaft, getting to the level I'm getting off at, and walking round to the diesel cabin to get the locomotive to go in by. And I can see upturns, up roadways, that's shooting off it.
And
Come to air doors, going through air doors, going to the top of the drift.
And the weird thing is that underneath you, that is all still there.
Yeah,
And all that equipment's still there.
yeah, it is, yeah.
So this underground city,
Yeah,
there's probably even helmets, sort of luminous jackets, boots, or whatever, all sitting in corridors and tracks and...
yeah. I may say, plus there's the people who lost their lives in the explosion, which they were never found.
Yeah. The ghosts.
Yeah. And the memories.
Yeah. Wow, Fred Harvey. And there's no kind of memorial to the...
No, there isn't. There's nothing, nowhere to indicate at the site of it, and I'm a bit upset in that respect. There's no remembrance of the pit at all on the area.
Yeah. Except your lights.
Yeah, that's just the work. I don't know.
Yeah. Often just the space between the eyes can be so important.
I'll be overwhelmed and chuffed if it was part of the display on sculpture.
It'd be amazing.
It was like fulfill my life,
Yeah.
knowing that women being youngest,
Yes, that's a good point.
I'm somebody.
And what I love, you've got kids.
Mm,
I mean, they'll be able to come and see it,
yeah,
which is amazing. It's emotional.
mm,
This is an emotional
story.
project.
Mm. I mean, if it is on the sculpture, which I hope it is, I'm buttering you up now. You could like be saying, this is the youngest underground worker there was.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get brownie points, honest.
Sorry?
See, I'm not trying to get brownie points.
No, at all. No. It's the truth is the truth, isn't it?
Mm.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I'd be overwhelmed if I were on it.
We're done. Well, that was amazing.
You do that.
What did I do? You really, really did. You really, really did. One of the loveliest sessions. Could go on. And on and on. The problem with this is it's never finished. It can't ever You're really honest and open and lovely. I'll take your cup. You can hold your head for a minute. Show the people. All right.
All right.
Happy birthday.